No one is prepared for the implications of the major announcement that the Shiba Inu developers made just now. However, the totals are growing. Major developments have occurred in Saudi Arabia involving BlackRock Tech, and Shiba Inu is at the center of them. Our developers are scolding us. An audacious price forecast, an objective that has the potential to completely disrupt the market. Could this be it? The time has finally come. Allow me to clarify. Caveat. The cryptocurrency market is still wildly volatile. Costs are skyrocketing. It appears as though no one is using the brakes, and the charts are glowing green because of how quickly everything has been going up. A lot of people are currently looking for a correction, some sort of retreat. Coincidentally, Bitcoin has once again surpassed the $100,000 threshold. The market is still going strong though. In fact, it's becoming faster by the day. And in the midst of all mayhem, Shiba Inu experienced a monumental event. Shiba Inu has remained steadfast notwithstanding the flurry of activity in the cryptocurrency market. It appears like a massive reset is taking place everywhere at once, and it's displaying tremendous vigor. There was an unusually large increase in trading activity across Shiba Inu in the last day. We're referring to Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange globally. Binance has a very different scenario. Even if Shiba Inu trade volume generally fell by 3%, the trading activity on Binance is escalating rapidly. We can see that over 97 million has been traded simply between the two most popular Shiba Inu trading pairings on the platform. This amounts to the transfer of more than 6.2 billion Shiba Inu. The volume is really insane. People aren't merely holding, they're actively trading, which is a clear indication of the token's demand. Also, this is quite significant. Among the many meme coins and hype tokens available today, Shiba Inu is fighting for a place at the top of the market. It is even more remarkable for Shiba Inu that it is doing this on a platform as large as Binance. Right now, this kind of focus and action is crucial. These days, it's about more than just community and memes. The aim is to show that Shiba Inu can hold his own at the highest level. A higher trading volume increases the token's visibility, liquidity, and future growth potential. This is a clear indication that Shiba Inu is not leaving. Actually, it may only be beginning. However, what's the big deal? What the hey? Well, there is more going on under the surface than what meets the eye, such as trading volumes and price charts. The visit of President Trump to Saudi Arabia is currently at the center of a lot of news. The Shiba Inu development team is also keenly watching, which is somewhat surprising. An important member of the Shiba Inu team, Lucy, recently spoke up with some ideas that have people thinking. She basically stated that the current situation between Saudi Arabia and the United States is historic, not merely political. Massive capital, think giants like BlackRock, are starting to align with cutting-edge innovation, AI, and futuristic tech, she pointed out. These are not minor maneuvers. Things like this have a profound impact on the upcoming decade. Her message was articulated perfectly. Until something has actually occurred, the majority of people will have no idea how significant it is. It becomes clear when you observe the rapid construction and adoption of new technology in countries like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Europe, she said, is lagging behind and needs to prioritize economic development if it wants to avoid falling behind. Okay, now we can make the connections. What is the significance of this for cryptocurrency? For what reason is it significant to Shiba Inu? Let me tell you something. Crypto is now about more than just currency. More and more, it's factoring into international plans. Crypto will be a part of the digital infrastructure when governments and multinational firms begin investing heavily in tech innovation and blockchain. Shiba Inu is an ever-developing project with its own blockchain environment and practical applications. Therefore, this is really significant. Crypto ventures linked to this goal may take off if wealthy and strong regions like Saudi Arabia embrace innovation. Perhaps that is precisely the reason the Shiba Inu squad is keeping an eye on things. They're not content to merely observe markets. They're also observing the construction sites of the future. Additionally, we must not overlook the new collaboration between Shiba Inu and the UAE. In other words, it appears to be strategy rather than just bluster anymore. Like Lucy remarked though, the majority of people won't get the gravity of the situation until after it has transpired. And it is the reason why everyone else is going crazy right now. There is a typical case of FOMO in the cryptocurrency market, and people are feeling it. Everyone is scrambling to make sense of the clues, foretell the future and find out what's going to happen next before it's too late. Unpredictable price forecasts of course resume as soon as that kind of energy enters the space. There has been a resurgence of speculation that Shiba Inu would hit $1, 1 or 10. However, one number is appearing more frequently than the others at the moment. Hundredths of a penny. That's the forecast that has everyone talking. Of course, many doubters are still rolling their eyes. Such forecasts have been made in the past, but this time there is a difference. This forecast now makes sense in light of recent events in Saudi Arabia and Bitcoin's breakthrough above the 100,000 mark. It's no longer a matter of pure chance. A genuine discussion is taking shape. What then is the reasoning behind that? For what reasons is the general public now beginning to think that this pricing could be achievable? Something monumental has just transpired. As Bitcoin once again surpassed the 100,000 mark, its overall market worth reached an astounding $2 trillion as a result. Because of that, everything changes. This is one of the main criticisms leveled against Shiba Inu's 10th of a cent by those who are skeptical. The market capitalization of Shiba Inu would surpass that of Bitcoin if it ever reached that price, which is obviously impossible. If Bitcoin's market cap had been lower at the time, that could have been fair. No, not at this moment. Let's dissect it. There is a little under 10 billion Shiba Inu tokens in circulation at the moment. Bitcoin, in contrast, is doing really well, with a valuation of $2 trillion and going up. And what would happen if, with its present supply, Shiba Inu managed to reach that magical number, 1/10 of a cent? The estimated value of Shiba is $589 billion. That's an enormous leap, some 70 times higher than its current location. This, however, is the crucial part. Shiba Inu's market valuation would still be far lower than Bitcoin's, even after that enormous jump. The size of Bitcoin would still be over 3 times larger. Then what is the lesson here? The price of tenths of a cent is not as outrageous as it formerly seemed. While this is not investment advice, it is reasonable to assume that Shiba Inu may reach that price point while still being significantly less dominant than Bitcoin. Being the leading cryptocurrency wouldn't be necessary for it to accomplish this. Naturally, there is an exception. The crypto market isn't an island unto itself. Assuming Shiba Inu's meteoric rise continues, Bitcoin is unlikely to remain motionless. It's also likely to climb, albeit at a slower rate. The chasm between the two may remain or perhaps widen as a result of this. Things become complicated though. When targets of half a cent or a whole cent are tossed around, she would have almost $3 trillion, and Inu at half a cent. Plus at 1 penny, that's more than 6 trillion. If Shiba Inu were to reach those levels, it would surpass Bitcoin in size, at least under the present supply and market circumstances. That is when things begin to appear implausible. Those extremely high Shiba Inu price estimates begin to push the boundaries of what is feasible unless Bitcoin also experiences another tremendous increase, perhaps a trebling of value or more. Rest assured though, this is the final verdict. When you hit tenths of a cent, it's no longer just a wild dream. The calculations are correct. Plus that little figure suddenly doesn't seem so far away in a market that is continually changing due to global big adjustments. However, let me tell you something. It takes more than simply statistics and market capitalization to reach that target of 1/10 of a cent. The project's backers are also important, and Lucy conveyed that point strongly.